The American Pole studio lights blaze brightly, with the audience split between fiery red MAGA hats and sparkling Hollywood banners. Caroline Leavitt, the youngest press secretary in White House history, steps out in an elegant green suit, her eyes sharp as a blade. Across from her sits Jim Carrey, the comedy legend and painter, wearing a smirk, his gaze oozing with sarcasm. The stage is set for the showdown. Comment below on where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on the latest stories. Just last week, Carrey posted a caricature on X, depicting Trump as a clown king and Leavitt as a puppet tweeting away. The post ignited fury in the MAGA crowd, and Leavitt decided to confront him, determined to defend her honor. She accepted the talk show invitation, ready for a punch to be thrown. Carrey steps up, voice steely. Your paintings call us a circus, but the truth isn't as colorful as your strokes. The room erupts with MAGA cheers, as cameras capture Carrey freezing, his hands tightly clenched. He steps to the podium, raising his iPad like a victory flag. Miss Leavitt, he says dramatically, you call my art cheap, but let me show you a piece that speaks what the White House hides. The big screen lights up, showcasing a chaotic maze. Trump sits at the center, phone in hand, surrounded by blindfolded MAGA crowds. In the corner, Leavitt appears tiny with a speech bubble saying, "Tweet this is your America." Carrey points at the painting, a maze of lies, and you're the blind guide. Hollywood applauds, someone shouting, "That's right, Jim." But MAGA roars back, a young man raising a fist. Leavitt sits upright, her hands lightly placed on the table, eyes locked on Carrey. She doesn't smile, but her lips twitch ever so slightly. Carrey, sensing the tension in the room, pushes further. Miss Caroline, you defend a president who divides. He's turned America into a reality show, and you're just the slogan shouter. Turning to the audience, voice mock serious. Who's ready for the next episode of Trump's chaos? Hollywood laughs loudly, but MAGA fumes, a woman shouting, "Shut up, Carrey." The host raises a hand to restore order. Everyone, calm down. Let Miss Leavitt speak. Carrey doesn't stop. He steps closer, pointing directly at her. You say, I don't know the truth. I paint what Americans see, a failed leader dragging this country through the mud. You young lady, think you can save him with a few sound bites. He spreads his arms to the audience. Who wants the White House to wake up? Who wants truth beyond my paintings? Hollywood cheers loudly, but MAGA drowns them out with boos. Carrey feels the pressure mounting. She's tough, but I own this stage, he thinks, recalling moments when he had crowds laughing hysterically. One more jab and she'll crack. He smiles, voice lowering. Caroline, I don't hate you. You're smart. You have a future. But why pick Team MAGA? Ditch Trump, and Hollywood will give you a better script. Hollywood laughs uproariously, someone yelling, starring role. But MAGA roars back, a man holding up his phone. She's stronger than you, Leavitt. Caroline lifts her head, hands relaxed, voice calm, but sharp like a sword. Mr. Carrey, you call that truth? I see a man painting for laughs, not unity. The words hit like an arrow, silencing the room for a second before MAGA erupts in applause, drowning out the boos. Carrey opens his mouth, but Leavitt raises a hand. Stop. I'm not done, she says, her eyes piercing. You mock Americans who believe in us. That's not art. It's arrogance. MAGA cheers. Someone shouts. Caroline's right. Carrey freezes, running his hand through his hair, his smile stiffening. The host jumps in, excited. Mr. Carrey, Miss Leavitt just called your art arrogant. How do you respond? Carrey takes a deep breath, eyes flashing with anger mixed with confusion. She's turning the tables, he thinks, feeling the stage tilt toward Leavitt. He glances at the painting on the screen. The chaotic maze still glows, but for the first time, Carrey wonders if he underestimated his opponent. Arrogant. Carrey retorts, voice rising, pointing at Leavitt. Miss Caroline, I paint to expose what you hide behind polished words. People don't need slogans. They need light. He steps forward, eyes blazing. You say I divide? I show them an America manipulated by empty promises. The room shakes with his words, and the lights burn hot. Hollywood claps, but MAGA's shouts grow louder, drowning out the laughter. Carrey stands at the podium, smirk intact, but eyes flickering with doubt. The maze painting still glows on the big screen, Trump with his phone, Leavitt tiny in the corner. Yet Caroline Leavitt is unshaken. She sits tall, hands relaxed, eyes locked on Carrey, ready to flip the game. The host senses the tension, like a taut string, and turns to Leavitt. Miss Caroline, Mr. Carrey just called the White House a maze of lies. How do you counter that? The audience falls silent, waiting. Leavitt stands, green dress shimmering under the lights, her voice calm but razor-sharp. Carrey, you draw America as a maze, but who's really leading us astray? She pauses, eyes sweeping the room. You call those who believe in us blind. I call them patriots, fighting for the American dream. MAGA explodes in applause, like thunder. Someone waves a sign. Caroline speaks truth. Hollywood boos, but it's weaker, overtaken by the MAGA crowd. Carrey opens his mouth to cut in. Miss Leavitt, the American dream is the nightmare Trump created, but Leavitt raises a hand to silence him. Stop. Her voice sharpens. You talk of nightmares. Look at your art. You paint to mock, to divide, then call it truth. She steps closer to the podium, pointing at Carrey. Truth isn't in your brushstrokes. It's in Americans who rise daily despite Hollywood's insults. The room quakes as MAGA chants, Caroline. Caroline. Carrey, feeling the pressure from MAGA's cheers, tries to regain control. Miss Caroline, you talk of patriotism, but patriots don't back a president who's turned the White House into a joke. Turning to the audience, voice mock sorrowful. I paint because I love America. I wanted to wake up before it's too late. Hollywood claps, but MAGA yells bull. A man raises a fist. You're the joke. Carrey smirks, trying to stay confident, but his hand trembles slightly. His eyes can leave it for any weakness, but she gives him no chance. Love America, Mr. Carrey? She asks, voice low but piercing. Then why insult millions who chose our path? You call them blind, but I see them clearer than your paintings. She pauses, eyes cutting through him. You don't paint truth. You paint your ego. The room goes quiet for a second, and then MAGA erupts, applause crashing like waves. Hollywood tries to boo, but it fades into nothing. Carrey stands frozen, his eyes lost, like a painting fallen from its frame. And in Leavitt's mind, victory swells. She knew the mask would never shake her. Truth outshines every stroke. She looks at Carrey, her gaze no longer sharp but full of light, exposing undeniable truth. She knows the room is hers, yet she remains calm, letting Carrey unravel. The host jumps in, voice stunned. Wow. Miss Leavitt just landed a knockout. Mr. Carrey, anything to say? Carrey takes a deep breath, forcing a smile that quickly turns into a crooked grimace. You're good, he mutters, dropping the iPad, his eyes lost in space. MAGA claps wildly, while Hollywood stands silent, conceding defeat. Leavitt knows Carrey is lost, not just to her, but to millions he mocked. She whispers to herself, truth isn't just a word, it's power. The room still shakes, MAGA's truth echoing like fire, burning Carrey's arrogant art to ash. She looks at him, no longer challenging but certain. Truth has won.